Dear Crystal, brought to you by Uniball. Start your story.
Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of Dear Crystal, where I am your favorite letter reader and host, Crystal Luster. And we have another letter written from someone with initial M. I guess they wanted to remain anonymous, so I'll just say, hey, M or but you didn't put two M's, so let's just, let's focus. Y'all know how I be. Anyway, Dear Crystal, hey, M. I recently made some decisions that didn't pan out the way I hoped, and I'm feeling really bad about it. Okay, let's get right to the point, girl or guy. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I'm assuming. Well, we won't assume because you already know how assuming. Anyway, I, without getting into too much detail, I picked the wrong guy. Woo, child. Now you already know. I know. Somehow I feel responsible and I'm having a hard time letting it go. Do you have any tips on how to get past moments like these? Like how to forgive yourself for bad choices and how to not dwell on getting hurt. Thanks for listening. Love you, M. First of all, M, listen, girl or guy, M, I love you back. And I commend you for your vulnerability. Like, I understand why you went straight to the point. Because when you in this part of it, of all of the feelings, like, you don't have time for the fluff. And I know that I can tell because you said thanks for listening. You wrote in like you clearly appreciate my content, and I appreciate that. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. And listen, when I say I overstand, I have gone through so many situations in the last year that reminded me of why I hated dating before I got married. But it's different. It's even more different now that I'm at this big age. Because like when you are, in your early 20s, it's like, oh, I can date. But like if I don't get married right away, that's fine. Or if I don't have kids right now, that's fine. I got a long time, and now I'm like 33, and it's like, woo, child, you don't have that much time left to have a pregnancy that isn't, subject to any type of complications. And listen, respectfully, y'all, I know everybody be like, oh, Janet Jackson had a baby at such and such age, and this person, listen, respectfully, like maybe if I had Janet Jackson money, when I have Janet Jackson money, I still probably won't, because I'm not trying to be 50 trying to start a family. That's just me. No shade or shame to anybody else who's doing it. But for me personally, I don't want that for me or my child, to be honest. So anyway, I digress. Going back to the issue at hand, right? Making bad decisions is such an emotional thing. And I think for people who are responsible, I'm assuming that you're responsible because that's how I feel. Like when you feel responsible for your actions, even if it's not all on you, right? Let's say if you pick the wrong guy, you're taking responsibility for something that's not all on you, right? Maybe you saw some red flags and decided to go with it anyway. We've all been there. It happens to everybody. But at the same time, you didn't force that person to make bad choices. They're responsible for their actions. So I think it kind of starts there, acknowledging the fact that not like playing into a victim mentality, but more so just acknowledging that two people were involved and you could take responsibility for your own emotions and your own actions. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? That guy or whoever, if it's multiple guys or whatever, like those guys, they chose to be jerks. They chose to mishandle you. They chose to not treat you well. That's their choice and their responsibility. And one day, hopefully sooner than later, they'll have to come to grips with that and accept responsibility for that and understand that their actions and their words impact others. So you want to ask like how to deal with how to let it go, one, and how to get past the moment, which is essentially the same thing, and how to forgive yourself. I think that was really important that you said that, and not dwelling on it, right? So it's like this idea of acknowledging the moment, accepting responsibility for your part in it, forgiving yourself, and then letting it go. Those four things. So first of all, acknowledging the moment. It is okay to not be okay. Let me say that one more time. It is okay to not be okay. We have a really bad habit of assuming that we just have to be okay. Like, oh, like what was that one scene from She's the Man with why am I blanking on her name? I literally watched her my whole life. Amanda Bynes, but she's just like, I'll rub some dirt in it. Like, I know she was talking to a guy, but still, like, society expects for us to feel that way too as women. I don't know if you're a man or a woman or not, but it expects for us to just be like, oh, just roll it off our back. No, that crap hurts. You hurt my feelings, okay? You ghosted me, you gaslit me, you play with my emotions, you led me on, or you flip the switch, or you were directly and explicitly disrespectful to, my thoughts, to who I am as a person, to my character, maybe even to my body. Like, all of those things, it sucks. It hurts. It hurts when you like somebody and they ghost you, or it hurts when you express interest and they express interest, and then all of a sudden they just go out of the blue, just they're gone. Like, that hurts. So accept that. Like, sit in that moment and let yourself feel your feelings. If you need a day, cry it out, write it out. Shout out to our sponsors, Uniball. Like, trust me, when I tell you I've journaled, I could write a book on how many times my feelings have been hurt by guys. So I sort of did, but that's not what this is about. Anyway, yeah, feel your feelings, acknowledge the moment, right? And then step 2 is accepting responsibility. So, like, there are different schools of thought when it comes to the responsibility that we have in situations gone wrong relationship wise, even if it's just like friendship or whatever it is, because you're dealing with 2 different people, right? And so it's like, well, on one hand, and this is specifically for people who have personally told me that when I dealt with abuse that I was asking for it in some way. I in no way condone that type of language or blame. Do not victim shame, because it's not okay. It's not okay. No one deserves or asks to be abused, period. So that being said, there's a certain element of, like, you don't want to feel like you have no responsibility, because then that gives you a sense of not having any control in any aspect of your life. And that's not true. We do have some control, not a whole lot of control. There are a lot of outside factors, but there are things that we can't control, right? And then on the flip side of that, not getting to a place of bitterness where we're constantly thinking, oh, that person ruined my life. Because again, you have some control over the things that involve you, right? So after you've dealt with it, you sat with that moment and you've acknowledged it, now you're accepting responsibility. So my version of accepting responsibility in situations where you did all the things, you were nice, you put out the attention, but not too much, you weren't smothering, like, it's all these different rules with dating or whatever, but it still fell apart. You still got your feelings hurt. You put yourself out there, you were kind, you were, supportive, you were funny, you were elusive, you weren't too available, but you were kind, you were graceful, you were gracious, and all these different things, right? And it still fell apart. So in that, my version of accepting responsibility is, what do we learn? Because as I always say, we win or we learn. What did we learn in this particular scenario? We learned that not everybody is for us, and that's okay. That's fine. People can change their minds. They can probably be better about it, but people can change their minds, and that's fine, right? We also learned in particular scenarios, it can be different, but maybe like, okay, if I'm revisiting this particular situation, did I ignore the red flags? Maybe this was divine intervention. Or did I ignore when there were red flags or yellow flags that came up that made me uncomfortable, but I just really wanted it to work? Maybe it should have ended there. Did I not communicate well about what it is that I wanted? So I set myself up for false expectations. Like, these are things where we can learn and adjust for the next time that we want to get out there and get back on a horse and try again. So that's accepting responsibility. Like, okay, next time I'll do this, that, and the other, and hope for a different outcome, right? So we've acknowledged it, we've accepted responsibility. Now it's about forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself, I think, is subjective. And the reason I say that is because, again, you can do all the right things and it still not be a good match. The guy still ghosts you, or, moves on, or he lied, or whatever it is, you got hurt in the process, right? Forgiving yourself is in conjunction with letting it go. Sometimes, even when it's not our fault, we still assume the responsibility because we feel like we are responsible for protecting ourselves and our feelings. We're responsible for protecting our hearts. And when we put our hearts out there and we show our cards and then someone rejects us, then there's a portion of us, if we're being honest, if everybody is being honest, where we feel bad about ourselves. And to kind of deal with it, at least for me, I usually go from like, I don't want to be sad, so I get angry and I start picking at myself. Well, if I looked like this girl, then it wouldn't happen. And if I did, newsflash, everybody deals with the sucky dating pool. It just kind of happens that way. But I'm optimistic and I believe that it does get better. So let's believe that. But let's also forgive ourselves. Hey, Chris, or M, whomever you are that's watching this, that resonates with this, look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? That one didn't work out and it hurt. And I kind of feel like you let me down, right? Talking to myself, I kind of feel like you let me down because we talked it out and we put ourselves out there and we took a chance and we fell on our faces. And it sucks and it doesn't feel good. And now I feel like I can't trust you to make good decisions. That's a conversation that I have with myself, right? But then I say, you know what? You did your best. We know that it's not all on us, so I forgive you. And it's as simple as that. And sometimes forgiveness is not an emotion, right? It's not sometimes, all the time. Forgiveness is not just an emotion. It's not an emotional action. It's a decision. So sometimes you might have to keep forgiving yourself and keep making that declaration with your mouth until your feelings catch up with your decision. And then the last thing is to let it go, to move on. What I've been doing personally is giving myself some space. So take a couple weeks. I'm not talking to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to go out on dates. I'm not trying to rush back into it because I'm tender. I'm feeling some kind of way and I don't want to carry that to someone else. Journaling, again, shout out to our sponsors. Let's pay some bills. Uniball. I journal so much about this particular topic because it is hard. And my prayer has been recently that my heart stays soft and that I don't grow hard-hearted or cold-hearted in the process, because repeated rejection is hard, but you take that risk so that you can get the reward, and it takes risk to get the reward. So you give it some space, you write it out, you speak kindly to yourself. Positive self-talk, positive affirmations are really good. I'm really big on those. And then reminding yourself, and I don't think we do this enough, there are literally 7 billion people in the world. That's a lot of people. Like, you never know who that one person could be. Your guy is out there somewhere. If you desire it, I believe that it is out there for you, that he is out there for you, that she is out there for you, whoever is watching this. And so just reminding yourself that chances and possibilities are limitless. Like, this is just one day. It's just one person. You have a gazillion other chances with a gazillion other people. And you just got to keep trying, but pace yourself. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much, Em, for writing in. I hope that that heart feels better very soon. I'm with you. We're right here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for writing in. Please keep those letters rolling in. And I feel like I should say in one more time because I just said it a bunch of times and we know how fun that is. Anyway, I hope that you have a wonderful day and I can't wait to talk to you guys soon. Later.
Send in your letter for some fun advice at mydearchristal@gmail.com.